Now at Stephanus number 8b6, we have Euthyphro's modified second response to the question, what is the Hoseian? And he says something like this. Well, okay, the Hoseian is going to be where you find agreement, that which all the gods agree to love, namely that unjust, the perpetrator, I should put, the perpetrator of unjust killing must be punished. So if someone does an unjust killing, like Euthyphro would say, my dad who had unjustly killed his servant, that must be avenged. That must be punished. He must be punished for that. So the Hoseian is there. So again, we're still in example type territory, not quite as general as Socrates would like. But we're starting to get a bit of a definition in there. Socrates then around 9d, he modifies this Euthyphro's second response. I indicate it with a little asterisk here. So Socrates' modification of this second response is like, okay, well, then if we want it completely general, we'll say that the Anhoseian is what all the gods hate. The Ocean is what all the gods love. So Socrates, this is an important part of the way Plato writes things, and the notion of seeking truth is you help your interlocutor, you help the person you're talking to formulate the best position that they can, and then you examine it. You're not interested in just attacking them. You want to set up the best position they can, and then you look at that critically. Okay, so once again, the Anhoseian is going to be defined as what all gods hate, the Hoseian, what all gods love, and when the gods differ, it's neither Hoseian nor Anhoseian. So Socrates then, he says, okay, so that's a little bit more of a general idea, but he's not too happy with this. He says something like, well, if you can really show that the gods do think this, my dear Euthyphro, then I'm going to be forever in your debt. And this wisdom of yours is incredible. Like if you would say that all the gods would actually agree that truly that what your father did is an unjust killing, then I would be in your debt. But I'm not sure if it really is. So Socrates is not debating whether or not that. He certainly would admit that yeah, it's probably an example of the Hoseian that unjust killing must be punished, and the gods would certainly be in favor of that. Who would debate that? It's like saying, well, what's something that's immoral? Well, something that's unjust, like an unjust killing. Yeah, that's immoral. Is anyone really going to debate that? As a matter of fact, probably no one would debate that, right? Because it's almost true in the sense of the very terms that you use to describe it. Like something immoral is immoral. Sure, we're going to agree with that. Socrates modifies it a little bit, tries to strengthen it, and then he says, at the end of it all, what have we really got here? Do we really have a definition of this? What we've got is sort of a general rule of application. Is this really truly a good definition? And Socrates doesn't. He really doesn't think it's doing all that much. He thinks also that this even this opening up here to talk about the thing in general, not working all that well. So Socrates, and I'd say at Stephanus number 10, we can say is a turning point of the dialogue. And this is where most discussions of the Euthyphro, most often when it's presented in lectures, this is where a lot of people start. This is like, yeah, this is the real meat of the dialogue, which is here. And yeah, I would say that there's something to that. However, I think having the background context also helps you to figure out why we were led to this, why this becomes the most important part. Because we're bringing it out of the domain of just God's preferences, and we're contrasting it with an intrinsic property. Remember when I talked earlier about like the Hoseian is over there, and then the gods will like it, and that will determine the Hoseian is the being liked by the gods. Socrates wants to actually question that whole idea of something being what it is in virtue of it having an external property. Right? So much like, external property like my wearing this sweater or something, can that make me who I am? And can the gods liking something make it into something, or do the gods just function as good recognizers? This becomes an ongoing question about the relationship in a more theological context between the notion of God or some kind of deity and goodness. And we saw this in our earlier discussions of divine command theory, right? So now let's have a look at this Stephanus number 10, the turning point in the dialogue.